God and design. Creation has numerous code signatures of God's handprint in nature's design, including art, science, and geometry. Many instances in the Bible illustrate mysterious revelations in text if one has a filtered knowledge in some of these studies. Key terms: geometry, dimension, autonomous, and fractals. Geometry involve parts of mathematics that treat properties of points, lines, surfaces, and solids under classical Euclidean systems or other non-Euclidean postulates. If we were to apply simple geometry to some of the theological forms in the Holy Bible, we can yield visual revelations of things that exist. Affirming truths in this manner can then be checked and compared to a true outcome or real visual representation in life. An example would be the design of an ion star or ion man graphic model illustrated in this session. 1. To begin the diagram, we would attribute biblical facts to a geometric relationship, such as the Holy Trinity and man's spirit, body, and soul. If we were to test these relationships to be true, then the image or concept rendered should be self-explanatory. 2. Mirror two symmetrical equilateral triangles vertical to one another with both pointed ends facing each other and divided by a horizontal line. Create a point in the center of each triangle for alignment. In this instance, we can attribute the bottom triangle as man pointing up to God, the top triangle pointing down. 3. Next, overlapping the two triangles midway on the horizontal line should appear like two hourglasses side by side. This position can be perceived as God and man mating spirit in spirit, a relationship that interpenetrates. 4. When both triangle centers align with the horizontal line, you should get a design of the Star of David or ion star. This design demonstrates a union in harmony. Encircle the design and now you have a circumcision. If you overlap 4 of these stars, you can create an eye shape, such as the one I demonstrate, Ion Man. 5. Finally, if you insert 3 protruding spirals from each triangle center to their corners, the interpenetrating diagram will then form an image of a simple man running. Thus God makes a man. The biblical text and historical accounts span through time in both second and third dimensions. The scriptures are 2-dimensional symbols communicating 3-dimensional experiences. A dimension is the measure of length, width, and or height. Examples: if you were to spread each capital letter in Yahweh, YHWH, over the edges of a 3D cube, you would get what appears to be letters bowing and praising in perspective. I illustrate by also overlapping these letters in perspective and form a simple geometric tree. Likewise, spreading each capital letter in New King James Version or NKJV over the edges of a 3D cube and later overlapping them together into a figure forms an open book with a tassel and folded page. I also demonstrate how math powers are self-incorporated in the geometric design of dimensional cubes, such as 2 squared, 4 equals 45 degrees, y equals x, square root of 4, and so on. The same 3D cube can be stretched into a shape of a sword blade, faces of a tongue from a mouth, an opened book, and even an open door, which all share biblical themes. If you were to flatten the 3D cube like origami paper, you would have a flattened dimension. By adding a horizontal line like a timeline to this 2D image, it would result in a Union Jack flag. This ties to language barrier study in previous sessions. A flat dimension with an added timeline yields an English tongue and time. The consistent outcome examined and deconstructed revealed the nature of God's engineered designs having an autonomous construct. Autonomous design in this session highlights the ability to self-regulate or govern itself in principle or by nature, yet its very nature pointing to a higher source and creator. The spiral is the one natural repeating pattern that weaves all organic design in order on an infinite scale. Revelations in this study present hidden fractals that untangle unveiling biblical mysteries. Fractals are infinite repeating geometric patterns that are self-similar across different scales. Repeated forms that stem from spiraling fractals include letter G, number 6, fingerprint, curled hand. Antenna galaxy, human fetus, Pangea map. When you combine all these various repeated forms entangled in multi-dimensional geometric autonomous designs, biblical associations have meaning, symbolism, expression, and purpose, which is far much more than any accident. Biblical associations become a much more complex account of this evidence, genius by a divine author anticipating time and space. Examples of fractal forms combining a larger form. Diagram manifests a man's head, all fractions of a man's head. A tree produces fruit, a serpent dwells in a tree. A curseless serpent consumes a fruit. Man eats a fruit, man produced seed from his loins. Tree makes a tongue and chin, fruit makes an ear, serpent makes eye and nose, groins make the chin, jaw, and neck. Diagram manifests a man's body, all fractions of a man's body. The neck makes the lower body, the jaw and mouth makes the belly, ears make palms. A serpent split makes a bull ox face makes the chest.